Hello everyone out there, this is Mr. Masonette, and what we're going to do in this math tutorial is we are going to read a word problem and set up an algebraic equation to solve the word problem. So this problem reads that there are 450 seats in the lower part of an auditorium. The auditorium has B balcony seats in the upper portion. So far, 340 tickets have been sold, which is 2/5 of the total number of seats in the auditorium. How many total balcony seats are there in the auditorium? Now, one thing we should notice about this problem is they break the auditorium into a lower section and an upper section. So we should assume that if we combine those two sections, that would comprise the entire auditorium, which means we can take the 450 seats in the lower section and combine them with the number in the upper section, which is represented by the variable b. And we know altogether that equals the total number of seats in the auditorium. Now, it goes on to say that 340 tickets have been sold. And this amount of tickets here, 340, is equal to 2/5 of the total number of seats in the entire auditorium. And we already wrote an equation that represents the total number of seats in the entire auditorium, which is 450 plus b. So the 340 tickets that have been sold is equal to 2/5 of this total. So what we can do is multiply 2/5 by 450 plus b, as we know that the word of represents multiplication, 2/5 of the total number of seats. And because we know this right here represents the total number of seats, we just multiply that by 2/5. Now we have an equation that will allow us to solve for b, or the number of seats in the balcony section. All right, so let us go ahead and simplify this equation here. We can say that 340 is equal to, we have to distribute 2/5 to 450, and b is equal to 180 plus 2/5 b. Now, I knew that 2/5 of 450 is 180 because 1/5 is the same thing as dividing by 5. And ignoring the 0, 45 divided by 5 is 9. And I put the 0 back, that's 90. And then I just doubled 1/5 to 2/5, so I doubled 90, which is 180. All right, let us go ahead and isolate 4b, or the number of balcony seats, by subtracting 180 from both sides. And subtracting 180 from 340, that gives us 160. And that is equal to 2/5 b. All right, now when isolating a variable with a fractional coefficient, what we do is we multiply that fractional coefficient by its own reciprocal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2/5 and multiply it by 5/2. That allows for the 5's to cancel out and the 2's to cancel out, which just gives us 1b. So on one side of the equation, we just have a single b. However, we have to multiply this 160 also by 5/2. All right, so what I'm going to do here is take 160 and divide that by 2 first, using a little bit of cancellation, and that would give us 80. And then we can just multiply 5 times 80, which is 400. So we have determined that this auditorium has 400 balcony seats.